Hello, this is Monday, November 15th, 2022. This is a sideshow and I'm Theodore Parker. Around here, the temperature is about 39, going up a few degrees to 43. Overnight, it was around 31 degrees. And again, I suggest that if you have freezing temperatures or lower, go to that thermostat and switch over to emergency heat. Might save a few dollars. Mask. Again, the CDC suggests that if your positivity rate is above 5% and you're going out to be around people, wear your mask. This week, Kentucky's positivity rate is 7.29%. Not too bad, but still above 5%, so I guess the suggestion holds. The sideshow. If you're watching on Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, don't forget to like, comment, and share below the video. You have that selection. And if you're on Google/YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. The Sideshow with Theodore Parker. Got a lot of stuff going on in the world today. President Biden is due to go over here to Indonesia for the G20, which has to do with a lot of things, shaking hands with President of China. And realizing that EVs, electric vehicles, are due to become standard by 2030. What's that, like 8 years, so 2023, call it 7. So not saying the gasoline-powered vehicles be ruled out altogether, but you probably eventually just find them on farm equipment. So, think about it. Russia, out of Kiev, Kishinev, and then to Kiev, still Ukrainians swear to drive them out of Ukraine altogether. All of this yellow area here is Russia. As I said, when you get to this little spot right here is where Ukraine is. And to break it down, what we got? Africa, Europe, this area, United States right here, North America, South America, right in the center is Central America. This big yellow space right there is Brazil. Down here on the border is Chile, Venezuela. All this pink area up here is Canada. On this side, on the opposite of Russia, you have Europe. Then going into Asia and down here to Greenland. Surprisingly enough, off to the United States, come down here like to Florida. A lot of us have been to Jamaica. So Cuba sits right there in the middle. So you'd have to swing around Cuba to get to Jamaica. And Bahamas is before on the right-hand side of Cuba. So speaking of islands, right quick, right here, surprisingly enough, as much as we hear about Britain and the British, Ukraine, the United Kingdom, is an island. And right next to that is Ireland. So kind of keep those little small but significant facts in mind. So much of Russia is made up of Siberia. Used to threaten they will send you to Siberia, send you to Siberia. All of this outside of Moscow is Siberia. Matching China soon, talking about statistic changes in the world population. India is almost neck and neck with China over this way, up over Africa. North Africa at the top, South Africa at the bottom. Right there, what looks like an ice cream cone is in the little places like Benin, so forth and so on. So just trying to keep you up on things a little bit. And Norway, up in this area, right here, excuse me, in this area right there. So, as the world stands right now, today, the population has gone from 7 billion to 8 billion officially in 12 years. But the way things are going, comments thought it will take 15 years for the world's population to be 9 billion years, based on current trends, disease control, things of that nature, because there's just been a little pop in the population with families getting larger, fertilities and things of that nature being up. So, officially, 8 billion people on the planet today. Was watching TV and saw a little thing from Soledad O'Brien, which was covered by one of her team. They're talking about United States in this case, this little green area right here. We're so used to a population majority. You know, this race has more the population percentage and then it subdivides after that. But come 2045, and this is based on the fact that minorities, and this was a woman who had a startup, and she called it 2045 because she was saying that by 2045, there will be no racial majority. With people coming into the United States from all over the world, especially South America, that the racial majority will not exist in the United States by 2045. So that's something to think about. So, taking people of color and women of color in particular, she started a venture of her own, which she qualified by saying a lot of people who are involved in startups generally reach out to start a venture of their own. So her venture is 2045, targets women of color, giving them opportunities to expand, excel, and achieve their ideas and goals. So I just thought I would throw that stuff out there a little bit, you know, let you know what's going on and how it's going. So, news. You know, that tragedy at the University of Virginia, which resulted in 3 people being shot dead and 2 injured. One in the hospital is coming around and the other one is still on the critical list. And the 3 young men that died were on a football team. And the young man that shot them on a school bus coming from a school trip was formerly on the football team, but somehow or another there was some comments about hazing. And he was not, although it was cleared up, he did not return to the team. So comments are now coming forward about what type of person he was as a young man, or as is a young man. The next one that hit me was 4 bodies found dead outside the University of Idaho in Moscow. So I'm like, in Moscow? I didn't know it had a University of Idaho in Moscow. So right away, I dubbed in, and all I saw for the first couple of lines of the article was Moscow, Moscow, Moscow. So I'm thinking Russia. But there is a Moscow, Idaho. As strange as it may seem or sound. So the University of Idaho is in Moscow, Idaho. And tragedy as it is, as tragic as it is, those 4 students are considered to be victims of a homicide. So then you dip into politics and you go on around and see what's happening with that, and people are getting their little, clapbacks on how the midterms have changed things for the GOP so far. And there's still a couple of states out with some election results that still have to be entered in. As I mentioned, Herschel Walker for one in Georgia. The latest one, I think, is Arizona, where Democrats flipped that, and so forth. So, today, November 15th, I thought I'd do something just a little bit different, but still in the same vein. We was talking about Barack Obama yesterday, and come to find out that Michelle was on the Today Show yesterday while I probably was doing that. So the sideshow, and don't forget about the coffee cups for $8 while we're thinking. And have it on our minds, you can order yours and I will make the suitable arrangements. $8. 11-ounce ceramic coffee cup. Change it around if you don't want to display a sideshow. Come back. This is the color. This is the logo. Come on, people. So, Michelle Obama reveals Sasha and Malia once invited her and Barack over for weak cocktails. This is taken from today's show yesterday. Some comments and additional information forthcoming. If you want to pursue the article on your own, as it is right now, Michelle Obama is still getting used to her daughters Malia, 24, and Sasha, 21, being all grown up and on their own. On November 14th, the former First Lady appeared on the Today Show to promote her forthcoming book, The Light We Carry, and boast about her girls. She even dished about how they're handling adulthood, recalling how the two, who are now roommates, invited her and her husband, former President Barack Obama, over for cocktails. We were like, okay, let's see what this is going to be like, Michelle joked on the talk show. The first thing they did, well, the martinis were a little weak. I don't think they really knew what it was. But when we got out the glasses, they were like, use a coaster. And I'm like, you never used a coaster in my house. So that probably brought a smile to a lot of parents' faces. They have come a long way since their days in the White House. Since leaving in 2017, Michelle has penned 2 books, including her bestseller, Becoming, which inspired her 2020 Netflix documentary of the same name. Barack released his own book in 2020 titled A Promised Land, recalling his early political aspirations and first term of his historic presidency. Malia graduated from Harvard University in 2021 and joined the writer's room for a forthcoming Prime Video series from Donald Glover. So I thought she was writing for Atlanta, so I may have been a little bit confused on that, so it says forthcoming. There's some of those weird episodes I thought she might have contributed to, no disrespect to her, but anyway. And Sasha is currently a student at the University of Southern California after transferring from the University of Michigan. The family returned to the White House in September, which I mentioned to you, for the unveiling ceremony of Barack and Michelle's history-making official portraits. If you look that article up, you can find out who the painters were. There was a painter from the White House Portrait, I want to say Society or whatever it is, no disrespect again, for him, and another woman from, I guess, the same society did the portrait of Michelle, which are the first to feature a black president and first lady. So, concludes my conclusion. Michelle's journey with motherhood is one of a few topics she discusses in her new book, which releases on November 15th, today. So you can access a copy, get a copy, buy a copy. And if I write a book, don't forget to buy one of mine. But still, Michelle Obama. Book coming out today, The Light We Carry. That might be sort of a quote from the poem that was used in President Biden's inauguration. The young lady that wrote the poem, maybe. So, there we have it. Tuesday, November 15th, 2022. This is the Sideshow. I'm Theodore Parker. Don't forget, coffee cups are available at $8. That's it. Hashtag.